We are back. My next guest tonight, please welcome a very funny guy, Artie Lange.
Our next guest is one of the funniest guys there is. He eats devil dogs for breakfast and cigarettes for lunch. Hey, ladies, here he is, Artie Lange.
We're joined right now by a hilarious comedian. His latest project, the Artie Quitter podcast, is available through artiequitter.com. Please give a warm welcome to a good friend of the show. Here's Artie Lange, ladies and gentlemen.
Our next guest is a regular on the Howard Stern radio program and the author of this New York Times bestseller entitled Too Fat to Fish. Here he is, the very funny Artie Lange. Oh, Artie.
It always makes me laugh when I see Artie Lange on stage, knowing I'm going to outlive him.
A Jack Daniels swilling, pizza-eating, dog-hating, whore-using, cocaine-abusing, hairy-back, big-belly blowhard from New Jersey. The fat little bastard known as Artie Lange!
The Artie Quitter podcast, and we're making no dent in pop culture. But that's fine. Two more of my cousins signed up, and this is officially the least successful podcast in the history of broadcasting. But that doesn't stop me from getting real showbiz people to come on because they're just good people. And they're honest about being a fan of mine. Telling people in showbiz you're a fan of mine, if they happen to know me, could be very bad for... It closes doors.
Yeah, but I like that. I like being
well, that's why
a bit controversial. I'm not a shrinking violet. I like Artie Lange. I like his comedy.
The voice you're hearing is the one and only Robert Davi. Robert, thanks for doing this, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me. What a pleasure.
This guy is, I've been meaning to reach out for you for a while because I am such a fan of your work. Everything you're in, I immediately have to keep watching, even if it looks like whatever, bad, good, and different. You're just such an interesting actor, and you have a charisma that you can't really teach, and I'm just a fan of a lot of the movies in general, but you can make, this to me is the best compliment you can give an actor. You can make shitty material better. You know what I mean? Just because you're in it. Yeah. And that's not true of everybody. Like I always say, look, sometimes it is the material. In all fairness to Alan Hale, if Marlon Brando was a skipper in Gilligan's Island, it probably would have been that much better.
Marlon would have done wonderful things with that character. He was a friend of mine, and I knew Marlon.
I bet you did.
I did Christopher Columbus with Brando.
Right, wow. That's interesting. Well, we'll get into that, but yeah, Brando.
Oh, yeah, there's a funny story. I'll tell you how he wanted to play Torquemada because it's probably how he would approach that character on Gilligan's Island.
Listen, I understand you fucked us over again off the island again, Gilligan. Yeah, I understand there was a plane. There was a plane you missed.
I dreamt I saw a snail crawling on the edge of a razor. There was a snail sliding on the edge of a razor, intended to die. That was my dream. That was my nightmare.
How about this Gilligan's Secret Island of Dr. Moreau?
Oh, he'd be wonderful with that big coolie hat on and white face.
Listen, Gilligan. I've mated some of the monkeys and some of the ladies. I've mated Ginger with a cheetah.
I can hear. Imagine the conversation.
Tina, can you take off your bra, Tina? I want to see your tits.
Listen. The professor. I've mated the professor with a chimpanzee, and it's a super intelligent chimp. The chimpanzee just made a radio out of some bark and string. Gilligan's Secret Island. That's fucking perfect.
He would have treated Jim Backus like he treated Carl Malden in One-Eyed Jack.
we mated Mrs. Howell with a lion. Jim Backus, oh heavens, dear, an egghead. That is amazing. Well, first of all, okay, let's again. If you don't know the name, you would know Robert's face in a heartbeat. He's been in so many things, and
I got a funny story about not knowing the name.
Go ahead.
Stern.
Howard Stern.
Listen to this. This is a funny story. You may have been on the show then.
Okay.
Anyway, they had this thing in Hollywood. Norby Walters, Never Too Big, The Night of 1,000 Stars.
Sure.
The Academy Awards.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. Great guy, Norby. They have this party. So, and they have all the press lined up. Now, when I was doing my show Profiler, I'd get up at 5 in the morning and, I'd be putting on, or if I get up at 5 to go to the set, I'd put on your show, the Stern Show, to get me through the day. You know what I mean? The morning early, get me going, laughing. It was fun. So I was a fan of the show. So now what happens is they have this lineup of all kinds of press people, and they have a guy coming on. He says, and who are you? Now, I know, and the guy next to me, another actor, I won't mention the name, no, you don't know who that is? That's Robert Davi. He goes, I'm so-and-so from Sirius Satellite Radio. You know who they are? And, of course, I did. But I said, no, I never heard of you. Right? So he goes, well, have you heard of Howard Stern? And I go, Howard Stern? Of course I love Howard Stern. Of course I know who Howard Stern is. What? Blah, 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 all this bullshit. Cut to now. And I go, you don't know who I am? I says, Google me. Robert Davi, Google me. Google was like, you know what I mean? I could have wanted to say Google
I was totally there, by the way. I was on the show at this time, yeah.
Okay, you were there.
Yes,
so now,
absolutely.
You guys come on, and you said you knew who I was, and Robin said, but Howard goes, now he had to be dead, this guy. Howard goes on, because it made me apoplectic a little, because this is the king of all media. He should know everything.
Right.
Media. You know what I mean? James Bond, Die Hard, Goonies, Showgirls. He doesn't know who the hell I am.
Right, exactly.
And what used to get me pissed off is that he likes to have these guys come on and talk about who they screwed, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got a list in Hollywood that would make him turn purple.
Oh, I can't.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing. I'm sure you do.
So you know that story. So they said. So Gary says we've got the biggest celebrity. We don't, because I was also putting it on. Then I said, when I said I loved Howard Stern, he goes, oh, we got to get to know this guy.
Right.
So I figured I did my Art Carney, my Ralph Brandon. I'm in the parents and Stern. Okay. So. I did that thing.
Yeah,
so now what happens?
It's a ball breaking on level red with you. It's unreal. That's why I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it was huge. It was like, so now James Franco does the show.
Right.
Years later, like 2 years ago.
I was not on the show.
Whatever it is.
Right.
No, you were not on the show for that.
No, I'd much rather be there with you.
Thank you, sir. Me too, with you. So James Franco, great guy. Now, James Franco did the show Profiler that I did. I was the star of the show with this blonde girl, Allie Walker, great actress, and Julie McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he has his first. He did a commercial he did some commercial, and then he did a guest star on our show, and I befriended him, and he was just getting his audition for Freaks and Geeks, and I help him, and he's telling the story about his career, and he says, and Robert Davi helped me, Robert Davi, and how it goes once again. Who's that? Robert Davi, who's that? So this kind of like.
And I wasn't there to help you out because I was gone. I would have corrected him because that's.
You did. You did that day. You said you've seen him, Howard.
Sure.
That day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, is James Franco on the list of people you fucked?
No. No, James wasn't on that.
That would make me turn purple. I mean, you've done so much. I mean, it's an insanely impressive resume. It really is. TV and films. And, you pop up in different places, and it's always, since I've had shows where I could book guests, it's always reminded me, like, God, I got to see if this guy would come on. And when I found out a couple of days ago you were a fan, I was really floating on there. I said, that's amazing. I saw you on Fox News with Hannity. And
yes,
it's so great how
Cavuto. It was Cavuto.
Cavuto with Neil. That's right. And you just these guys. I like Fox News because they are when liberal, politically correct Hollywood's out of control with something, they are actually the voice of reason sometimes. And
absolutely,
and I enjoy people on there, but all these people are so smooth. Cavuto, Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, and you're a guy who I love it because in a very casual way you just dominate the conversation. And they can't, even if they try to go to commercial quick, you're just very smooth. And you were talking about your hairdresser with him, and he can't outsmart or outwit you, which is great. And I'm a fan of your politics right now. And I want to ask you first, how political are you, Robert? Have you always been sort of outspoken with that and right wing, and how does that affect you in Hollywood?
Well, don't forget, I mean, always right wing. We were Kennedy Democrats probably, right, early on when I was a kid.
Right.
And then I guess the Reagan was a transitional part, with Ronald Reagan. And
absolutely.
then over those years. And then getting more so and then and then I started getting more outspoken, I guess, in 2000, and that's when you start getting blacklisted.
It's unbelievable, right? I mean, that's a real thing. Yeah,
Oh, it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
If I told you some stories, Artie, that's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And hey, it's because again they if you're labeled conservative or if you're voting GOP or if you have a thing, they just assume you're anti-gay, you're anti-this, you're anti-that,
Right.
which is not the case.
Right, of course
You know what I mean?
not.
Because
Yeah.
there's a much more nuanced. Yeah, there's a much more nuanced part of that whole part of your life. You just want America. What I'm very pleased about with Donald Trump, and I wrote an article for Breitbart. I've been writing for that website since 2010,
That's
and
great.
prior to that. Yeah, and you don't know this, but I've been on the Homeland Security Policy Institute at George Washington University since 2003.
Wow.
I have a varied kind of resume of different things.
Yeah.
That I'm a little more informed than most would be, per se.
It sounds like it. I mean, if you know Hollywood stuff, you write for Breitbart, you're on as committees. I mean, you're the guy who shows up when your life's over, and you go, listen, you come this way. We're going to debrief you.
Love to brief you.
Yeah. Well, you talk about like the black.
I mean, I wrote, just so you know,
Yeah.
the day Donald Trump announced on June 16th,
Right.
I started writing an article. He hadn't even finished speaking.
Right.
And by the time he finished, I finished the article within 20 minutes, sent it off to Breitbart, basically saying, going against the absolute tide of everyone.
Right.
And all these other friends of mine that I had started to, and now they're falling into line. I mean, I was getting phone calls by, I won't tell you who and what, when and where, but, month after month as it was going on, there was, tell us, what are you feeling? Because I wrote article after article. Because I sensed before the GOP, crashed and burned, both sides have sold us down the river. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, especially so-called middle class, if you can even call anybody that anymore. They get fucked all the time, and it's both sides are responsible. Yeah.
You've had a life, you've lived your life.
Yes.
That's why you're a great artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've had, but it's true. You think with your dad and your, struggles that you had personally.
Right.
Most of these people, they grow up in Hollywood. I mean, to make it from blue collar, you know what I mean? This is what I respect. I call us soldiers of cinema.
Absolutely.
Because we're coming from the blue collar, and we understand the struggles of our people out there that don't have the security fenced house and don't have the private jets.
Yeah, we lived it.
You know?
Yeah, we lived it. Absolutely right. Yeah. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't forget that with all the, you've worked with every, like Brando, for crying out loud, everybody. And
my first film I did with Frank Sinatra. Imagine my birth, my baptism
wow.
in Hollywood, Artie, is with Frank Sinatra in 1977. It was a great. You're part Italian, so you know what he was, right?
I'm sitting in Hoboken, New Jersey right now. That's where I live.
Look at that.
I'm 100 feet from where he was born.
Right, on Monroe Street.
Yep. Wow, there you go. See, listen, I grew up 5 miles from here in Union, New Jersey. I was a longshoreman. I didn't go to college. My break was I was one of 8 cast members of Mad TV, the sketch comedy show, and every single one of those
Quincy Jones, right?
Quincy. Well, I know that we got to get to that because I know Quincy saved my life. Quincy, for some reason, probably the same reason he liked you, besides your talent. That guy just took a liking to me and really helped me, and he understood my troubles more than anybody. And all those cast members, 2 people went to Northwestern, one was a Yale drama person, one was Groundlings. I was a longshoreman 3 years before I was on, and I learned comedic characters from working at the port. I was doing impressions of those guys. And, when I got arrested, I'm in LA County Jail, and Quincy comes to me and says, I thought I was going to get fired. And these guys wanted to fire me. And he stepped in and he goes, listen, man, you a funny cat. He goes, a lot of people I know coming up had the same problem. You have Miles Davis, we goes Billy Eckstein. I go, I was talk about wanting to pinch myself. I'm a longshoreman 2 years before. He's got me the same conversation as Miles Davis, and he goes, you go back to Jersey, you get better. When you come back here, you got a job. And he flew me back on a private jet with his daughter Kadita and some business partner of his. Just the 4 of us on a 12. He flew me on a private jet. I told my mother, and you talk about that Sinatra talk. My mom loves loves this story. He said, "How you getting home tomorrow?" I was coming back from rehab in New York. How you getting back to L.A.? I said, "I got a plane ticket." He goes, "Cancel that shit. We got the wings." We got the wings. He goes, "Be at the Pierre Hotel tomorrow at noon." I go, "All right." I was there at 11 o'clock walking around to make sure I was on time with my buddy Deej. And Quincy comes down. We get in a limo. We go to a private jet. I never been on a private jet. Gourmet Italian food. His daughter, Kadena, God bless her, was very nice to me. But she got on the phone and she's making plans to go out in Bel Air that night on a plane phone. And he gave me a hug and he goes, you go do your thing. And that confidence got me to kick ass on that show. He got me to kick ass so much I got a movie deal afterwards. And I basically said how much I love him in my book, and his daughter Rashida contacted me and said it means so much to him. And I said, that's unreal.
He's one of the great figures of our time.
Yep,
Quincy Jones.
Absolutely.
His heart and his spirit and his generosity to artists. As you experienced firsthand.
Right.
And he was very close to Sinatra, of course.
I know, yeah. Frank and him were big. He's on a lot of those amazing albums in the early '60s when Sinatra had that sort of.
Well, the Sands, Sinatra at the Sands. That's Quincy Jones with the Basie band. And they met in Paris. In Paris. In Monte Carlo when Frank was doing a concert at the Sporting Club for Prince Renier and Grace, Princess Grace, and he needed the band, so he had. Q's had a great band that was in Paris, and they sent the band over there, and he called them Q for the first time with Sinatra there.
No kidding. That makes sense. Right?
Yeah, he was the first one to call him Q, and then he Sinatra they hadn't talked for like 5 or 6 years, and then out of the blue, Sinatra called them up, and they started going at it now.
That's
and
great.
Doing some great work. And when Q3 was born. Quincy told me this story because, of course, I was very close to Sinatra and Jilly Rizzo and all the cats, right?
That's great.
So, and we got great stories and stuff that when I'm in person, we'll tell some of them.
Exactly. Q3 was very close to Mad TV, by the way. He produced the theme song with Heavy D, so I know Q3 kind of. I met him back then,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when he was born, Sinatra gave an envelope to Quincy for the birth of his son that basically said he didn't have to worry about college.
Oh my God! Wow.
You know what I mean? But Sinatra was legendary with that kind of thing. See, to me, Artie, as an Italian, the son of my grandparents were Italian immigrants from Sicily and Naples, and the Italians, people don't realize this, and this is another thing. Of course, every race that comes in, whether you're Irish or German or Scottish or whatever, But the Italians in 1906, the New York Times, there was an article that said the Italian is lower and dirtier than the Negro.
Oh, God.
In 1886, there were more lynchings of Italians, Sicilians, than any other kind of, people.
Wow.
So Sinatra grew up understanding that the Italian immigrant was looked at a certain way. And that's why he was one of the first artists to come out against racial bigotry and anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
A
lot of black musicians who toured with him would say that he would, when they were supposed to stay in other hotels, he got he supposedly got a real passionate mad about that.
Lena Horne and he were going to the Store Club or 21 Club one night, and he got there, and the maitre d' looked at him and said, "I'm sorry, did you make a reservation?" He says, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I don't have it here. Would it be under a different name?" And he looked at him and said, "Try Lincoln," and decked the guy.
What a great story. That's amazing. It's funny you say that. I can relate to that. My father, when I was in a senior in high school, handed me an envelope that basically said, "I don't have to worry about college." It was my grades from high school.
See that? You twist that right around. Like the stench of failure. How did you come up with that?
Well, that's my self-deprecating comedian attitude.
I know.
So now singing, Robert. So were you always a guy who sang the way you do? Is that how you got into? What was the first thing, acting or singing?
Concurrent. Right. I was acting, winning awards. Ever hear of the Forensic League?
Yes.
All right. I was part of the Catholic Forensic League and the National Forensic League in high school, and I was winning. They were like every week, you know what I mean? You did a monologue or a scene, a multi-character scene.
Right.
And then you would win. So it was like every week was like an Oscar. So it was kind of like a false sense of whatever it is, because you'd come home with trophies. So I
That's
had
great,
hundreds
great
of these
confidence
trophies.
builder. Yeah.
Oh, huge confidence builder, because I was first in New York State, sixth in the nation, and then with singing in solo competition, the New York State School Music Association, this is in high school, I won first place. And I wound up studying with Dan Ferro at Juilliard, and Rotito Gobioletta, who was like the Blando baritone of the opera world, studied in Florence. Subsequently, my acting career took off first. I came to New York, studied with Adler, and
Did you
Meisner
really?
and everything.
You studied
in the acting studio.
directly with Stella Adler. You had classes with her.
Oh, I was very known. I have letters from her. I've got very close. I've got things about Stella, and and I'm the only. I worked with Stella directly, Meisner directly in the actor's studio with Lee Strasberg.
Wow.
There's a guy named George Standoff who developed Michael Chekhov's technique. Man. I mean, I know the whole progression of this whole. Let
me ask you this, Robert. You never get a chance to talk to somebody. Can you somehow put into words what was so special about Stella Adler? I mean, as a teacher, like what?
Stella?
Yeah.
Well, she was probably the most intelligent or and accomplished female that was still could still be a woman. There was no she beyond that in terms of her script interpretation class and the mechanism of feeling. She is the only one, Artie, that studied with Stanislavski directly. I don't know if you know the story.
Yeah, no, I mean a little bit.
Story?
That's why. Yeah, I mean I know a little bit about that.
All right, the story of this is when the group theater was having lessons, and they were learning the tenets of Stanislavski, which they first heard about from Boleslavsky and the New School of Social Research. And the group theater started, and Lee was teaching the classes based on early Stanislavski writings. But they were frustrating some of the actors, leading to hysteria in terms of emotional recall and effective memory and all of that, which is all good stuff, but it's applied. It depends on how it's applied.
Yeah, that's intense.
And for work on oneself rather than work on the role.
Because it's almost therapy. It's almost therapy you're going through. That's intense stuff,
It's intense stuff. So Stella goes to Paris with Harold Clurman, who was a great man of the theater, who she was married to.
Right.
And is in a park in Paris, and Stanislavski is there, and she doesn't say anything. And he looks up at her and says, well, you're a beautiful blonde woman. What do you have to say for yourself? And she said, I used to love acting. You've made me hate it. Wow. And that got his attention.
Wow.
Yeah. And for every day, she said, come to my office tomorrow. And every day for 6 weeks, he worked with her and basically told her, they're working off my early work. Here's where I'm at now. This is what it is. She then came back to America and started. But so she had a whole technique class that you went to first, which was work on oneself, but then the breakdown and the interpretation of a screenplay that lifted the idea to a universal epic level. And so it was her putting your imagination on fire that connected it to what the social situation is in the specific epic of which the play might be written or the characters might be in, that propel and that's what Brando learned from that. You know what I mean? I mean, Brando was a big proponent of Stella. I met him through Stella for the first time,
Yeah, I mean, that's like what you just described is, I mean, you talk about people who are like, dumb movie star actors. If you're truly a good actor and you understand what you just said, you can't be stupid. I mean, you have to be, like, in other words, you got to be, I would think, on another level of intelligence to get what you just talked about in a real way. There's that documentary now called Listen to Me, the Marlon Brando speaking, the tapes of him.
Yes, great.
It's great. A lot of it's sort of rambling that you laugh at, and it's sad at the end. But there's one particular moment in it that I think is so profound that people don't talk about. He's talking about the time he first hit with Streetcar and doing theater in New York. So he's a kid from Iowa, comes to New York, and he sort of subtly talks about, broads and how much fun he was having there, and God knows how much fun it must have been. But he talked about going to that place emotionally. Imagine every night on stage, you're doing that guy, that play. Like, I mean, you're up, you're down, you're loud, you're screaming, and there's love and there's passion, and then you're done for the night. And what do? And he talked about riding on a motorcycle, by himself with his shirt off on summer nights through Manhattan at 4:30 in the morning, and being a kid, realizing he's taken over Manhattan, he's the toast of the town, he's going to have this career they never thought he'd have, this screwed up childhood in Iowa, and now he goes, I was truly relaxed at that moment. Like he goes, he said, I was never happier. I couldn't believe life could get this good. And that's how he came down from that performance. Like where other people might have needed heroin or something, he was able to drive through the streets of Manhattan by himself at 4:30 a.m. with no shirt on. That's just amazing to think that happened in Manhattan. I'm looking at the city right now. I have a view that 46th Street is still there. That's why Manhattan's a magical place, and that's getting what you just talked about. What an amazing thing for a person to go through.
Oh, it's again, he told the story that when he was, he had also early film success,
right,
and frustrated at the studios, so he would go to Paris to maintain a certain kind of anonymity.
Wow!
And he was walking through the streets of Paris one time with a friend of mine, and he goes, "You see that building there?" He says, "I used to go to the top floor, and I would pee on all of Paris to relieve my frustrations of the studios."
I'll tell you what. Again, people like you talk about artists, they start to do crazy things. Whereas a lot of jazz musicians, Quincy was talking about these guys who would, those bebop guys, Miles Davis and Charlie Parker, who were his heroes. They would create art on the spot every night, and stand up in a weird way when you're killing. It's the same feeling you go through. And
come on, you do like your performances, your stand-up stuff is jazz, man. You're playing, you're speaking. Your instrument is your humor and yourself.
It's stories, and that's how I get out of the. It's therapeutic for me by telling these tragic things that happened to me, which is what Richard Pryor did. But for me, unfortunately, I turned to heroin. And when I saw the Brando stuff, I said, God, I wish I would have found my fucking motorcycle at 4 a.m. I wish I would have found my Paris or something. I didn't. Dope found me first, and that's the way I came down. And I feel so weak. I feel strong that I got through it somehow, and I took care of my mom, and I'm still here and breathing. But talking to you on the radio right now, but I wish I would have had the strength or the wherewithal to find that moment he got without drugs. It's weird.
Yeah. That's a situation there that again, that his sensitivity, your sensitivity, what creates that void that then you turn to. I've had, personal issues. I have kids, that one or two have had some issues there. Okay. Thank God they're fine.
Well, I'm glad. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm glad they're fine. Sure.
Yeah. No, so I understand the addiction aspect to life and the pain that it brings and but how does and I think in some way how he got out, because of course, his mother was an alcoholic. He really was from Nebraska, not from Iowa.
Right.
Yeah, he was. And his dad was a hard-fisted guy, as you see in the thing.
Oh, man. That moment with his father on TV, you could tell the anger he has for his dad, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But he was such a cat. So, see, and I think what made him not have to go to alcohol, and so he went to other things. You know what I mean?
Right.
There may have been other things, and also don't forget he not only his motorcycle, but he found Tahiti.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Right, exactly. I think that documentary, it shows from his early life that it was almost inevitable that if he lived to a later part of life. A lot of people don't with that kind of life. You get into an accident on the motorcycle, a la James Dean, or something happens in your crazy life where you die because you get exposed to different risks in life. But he lived into his 80s, and it was almost inevitable that something eccentric would have happened to him, something abnormal. It's funny. I asked Quincy Jones about Marlon Brando because I had heard he lived next to him. He said to me, he goes,
Quincy had many, many conversations with Marlon.
Oh, he said the funniest thing ever. He said to me, he goes, that motherfucker keeps fucking my maids. I'm amazed out there talking to Brando. I'm like, do the fucking laundry first, then you can fuck Brando. Quincy was so fucking funny. Yeah, I just think that it's inevitable when you live a life like that, or the one we all lead, because we choose to lead it. We get out of town. I have a lot of Italian buddies who stay in town. They're very provincial. They don't go anywhere, and some of them resent the fact that I tried to do it, and I hate them for it. I'm like, motherfucker, why are you mad at me? Because I don't want to stay at the deli every day and talk to you about your car.
Yeah, that's that's the thing where. Early on, I read all these, Krishnamurti, because Brando read Krishnamurti, you know what I mean? And
right.
You Are the World, and a lot of these things with unattachment and the spiritual. See, I grew up Catholic. I'm Catholic. I believe. I have faith.
Me too.
And I think some of it is also, whatever you find your spiritual, however, some of it is a spiritual void in some way, and if you can find that to fill whatever the demon you're struggling with, and if you can stay into that, because I think we live in an addicted society, number one. Everybody, the whole world is addicted.
In some way,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, in some way. So I always say the whole world needs a 12-step program. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
They do.
I know. I can't think of anyone who doesn't.
Right?
Yeah. In a way, you can. When people call it a disease and stuff, I don't know. Everybody's different. But you see what happened to Prince, an iconic guy. He basically was a junkie at the end, and that sounds like a harsh word, but people should hear that because maybe they'd figure out. I lived that in hell on a much lower level of fame.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who got so into those pills, he probably had a pharmacist who he was begging for them. And you have a guy who's like Elvis in Minneapolis on a bike outside of Walgreens by himself.
Well, they said that there was absolutely there was that issue. And it was interesting. I was watching the night they announced. I was on going through the channels, and I put it on CNN, this Don Lemon show, which, nice guy.
Don. I've been on his show, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have never been. I just see the show. I like it.
Right.
They don't put me on because I'm too right-wing.
That's CNN, exactly. No, exactly. Yeah, they called me up about a comedian issue, but, Don's a good guy.
He seems like a really good guy, and he had Van Jones on, right?
I know Van Jones.
And he was questioning Van Jones, and Van Jones said something that went right over Don Lemon's head.
Right.
And everybody's head. And that night I says, oh, shit, it was a drug thing. And this is before people knew that it was that. And I said to my friend, it was a drug thing. Really? Why? Because I'm telling you. Here, he asks him, what would how do you feel, Don? What are you feeling? And Van. And Van said a few things. He was quiet for a second. He goes, and I feel guilty. And then went on.
Right.
He didn't say it. It popped out of him. Guilt.
Right.
Why guilt?
Right.
Why guilt, Artie? Because people around you that are enabling in some way or see something going down and don't know how to help you.
Don't know what to do, right.
They don't know, because this is the big thing about addiction, too, that, I've always felt that there should be, now this is kind of another thing, because if you can get somebody early on that's addicted or starts using, if you could get them early on, sometimes you hope you have a better chance of helping. You know what I mean?
Sure, it's got to be early. You're right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's got to be early on.
Yes.
And what happens is we have nothing in society that helps family members. It doesn't help parents. It doesn't help spouses. It doesn't help brothers and sisters to be able to say, or, agents, if there was some kind of system set up in the community whereby if you felt there was someone that you were close to using, and not a witch hunt thing, but really using, and you went to these elders in the community saying, I think, and they can immediately have a drug testing thing and then intervene in a healthy way to help the person early on. Because parents see that, but they don't know where to go.
Right, especially parents from a different generation. They have Al-Anon, but that's very, a lot of people don't get a great experience there. And you're right, by that time it's not early. And I think I agree with everything you just said, but then you get into that gray area of, just taking somebody's rights away of I think you're on drugs, so let me do this. And people will get very, very defensive. But
they will get very defensive, but but the alternative is the destruction of lives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know how you would feel. How did you get help? Because you went through.
Listen, I again, mostly it had nothing to do with, ultimately it was the fact that I loved what I did for a living, and I wanted to get back to it. But my mother, I had seen my mother crying too many times because, like a lot of, like you just said, artists and people who live the lives we live, I had a life of extremes. There was nothing in the middle. It was at both edges. And I gave my mother insane highs and insane lows. Like my mother saw me get a standing ovation at Carnegie Hall. Like, you know, I sold out Carnegie Hall in 2 hours, and I was 10 feet from me backstage, and I saw her crying as I got a standing ovation walking off the stage at Carnegie Hall. And I hugged her, and I gave her moments like that. I've also seen my mother crying because she's watching me go through withdrawals in a jail cell. You know, but the thing is, there's nothing in between. I bought my mother a house, but she's also seen me, you know, bleeding because I stabbed myself 9 times in a dope withdrawal and in a blackout. You know, there's nothing in between that, like, say, a guy who was a dentist or something could give her. You know, that steady life that I call boredom, unfortunately. And God bless my mom, she's still here, and she doesn't give me the guilt trip. But she says, you know, Art, the Italian mother thing, I'd rather live in a studio apartment, have you never give me a dime, and never see you on stage at Carnegie Hall, have you struggle as a comedian instead, if I didn't see the other part. And I'll have to live with that guilt or whatever for the rest of my life. And I'm happy she was honest with me, but initially when I got clean for a long-term period the first time was doing that to my mom, you know. My old man's been gone a long time, but she's still around, you know.
How old is she now?
She's gonna be 74 in a week. You know, and she's strong, you know.
Yeah, and you lost your dad young, right? You lost him.
Yeah, my old man, you know, he got to the 9th grade in school, and he grew up on the streets in Newark, basically, and he climbed roofs for a living, and was a petty criminal in the beginning. Was on trial for a crime when I was born, and my mother made him go as straight as he could, and he installed TV antennas. He saw an idea for a business in 1967. Everybody needed an antenna, but a lot of people were afraid to climb roofs, and he didn't mind it. So he would hang, you know, 7-8 antennas a day sometimes, and he got us a small home in a blue-collar neighborhood, got us out of Newark, and that was it. That was my, you know, he was my best friend, and he fell off a roof when I was 18. Fell off a roof working. And we had to go on welfare, long story. I mean, everybody's got their sob story, and I you know, I tell mine just because I was trying to sell some books, and I became a little famous. People seem to like those stories on Stern, and they related to them. You know, I'm a flawed person.
Well, because well, it gives people, you know, look at. I think the philosopher Schopenhauer had a quote about life, and the part I remember because, you know, I lost my parents early on, and a sister was killed by her ex-boyfriend.
Both parents, both parents, Robbie.
Both parents died within like 2 years of each other. Yeah, so that was the whole. You know, rough, and they were in their mid-50s.
Wow.
But I mean, but Schopenhauer basically said misfortune in general is the rule. You know? I mean,
sure. I mean, right, exactly. Who's got that perfect life? You know, I mean.
Exactly.
Right. And everybody gets pain from different things. But again, my father, I often think about it. My father, he became a quadriplegic and lasted 4 years, but we were completely destitute. And, you know, he killed himself. And we found out later that a friend of his helped him kill himself. And, you know, if I saw the friend now, I wouldn't have him arrested. He did. My father asked me to kill him every week because he was delirious from pain. He wouldn't make me feel guilty if he was in a right state of mind. And I think I used a lot of that to go, fuck it. I said, look, that gave me strength. If I could get through that, you know, am I going to be afraid of some audience in a comedy club? You know, that's what you do.
You know, go back to Brando again in Last Tango when he says you're alone.
God, yeah.
And you'll never get over that feeling of being alone until you look death in the face, until you crawl right up into the ash of death, into the womb of fear.
Wow.
Then you'll know. Yeah.
That's him,
Great
man.
quote from
that director. What's the director's guy? The Italian guy. Bertolucci. I mean, he even admits that Brando wouldn't talk to him for 5 years because he got, you know, Brando wouldn't talk to him because he couldn't believe he got the real Brando on screen. You know, when he's talking to when he's talking to the wife when she's dead in the coffin, that's Brando talking to her. That's him talking to a woman. You know, it's like you are.
How great is that scene?
I know. You're lower than any
he looks at him
scum.
and he goes, you know, I mean, that scene is like a legendary. I mean, you know, who were you? You, and then he says the C word.
Yeah, you're a lying. You're worse than any gutter rat.
You pig fucking whore. I hope you rot in hell. You're worse than any street pig that ever lived.
Street
you know why?
pig.
You lied to me, and you knew you were lying. You pig fucker.
Oh my God! And Bertolucci admits, he goes, I'm gonna get you to be you. And he didn't. I don't even think Brando even knew. I mean, he's that one scene. He's in the fetal position in Paris. It's chilly and the depression and the darkness.
When she kills him.
Yes. Oh God.
He puts on the father's captain hat.
Right.
And she kills him when he finally says, I love you.
Oh.
Bing.
That is every
the
man.
bullet to the gut.
Right.
I love you. Bing.
The darkest moments in a man's brain about a woman. That's where you go to.
Oh God.
You know, again, well, you have something again as an actor. I point to this of all the projects. I'll point to this because it's different. And the movie Kill the Irishman. All right. I was a longshoreman, and I heard a lot about Danny Green. You know, because he was a Cleveland version of a lot of guys that I knew at the port, and dangerous guys. And a lot of the Italian guys talk poorly about the Irish, and you know, it was a crazy, very politically incorrect conversation we used to have. But they were such characters. And as soon as that movie was made, I immediately saw it. I saw it at a small theater, and I thought you guys did an amazing job. You know, the script was good, but I think a lot of the performances really lifted it up. And when you see, I didn't know you were in it. And when you see you at the end, you know, by that time I was a big fan of yours. I was like, this is where it goes to another level because, like, you just know, okay, this is the guy. You know, I said, Robert's the guy that's going to blow him up. You know, you're going to play the guy that based on a real guy that's going to get him. And the last part where you're driving and he sees your face and you look back, you know, it's like, that's it. And that's charisma that you're just born with, brother. I mean, you know, and a lot of it is your talent, but of all the projects, I wanted to bring that up to you because I think,
thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people probably haven't seen that one, but you know, great, bravo, man. You know, I mean,
well, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I play Ray Ferrito.
Ray Ferrito, based on a real guy, yeah.
Based on a real guy, and at a certain point, that was the character when they were doing another incarnation of it, I believe. That's the character De Niro wanted to play.
Right.
He wanted to play Ray Ferrito. Now, when we did Kill the Irishman, his wife, Ray Ferrito's wife, wrote a book and sent me the book on his life and wanted me to play play his character.
Yeah, well, he's a whole
because
movie.
I did research.
He's a whole movie himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was an interesting character. I had a cousin. I know you're a boxing fan. I think,
love it.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
My cousin was Richie Giacchetti. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Okay, no, but sounds like a boxer.
Richie Giacchetti was he was from Ohio, Youngstown.
Oh man,
you know, Golden Gloves. Him and his brother were Golden. But Richie managed and trained Larry Holmes from the beginning.
Wow,
and put Don King in boxing. Tyson, he trained for 10 years. You know, the Holyfield fight, bite on the ear. That's my cousin.
No kidding.
You know, said, listen, if he butts you in the head, my cousin just passed this year. But he trained Aaron Pryor, Michael Dokes, Ernie Sheen.
Wait a minute, Rich. Is this guy in the documentaries that you see a lot? Like, and you see him talking?
Richie sometimes is in there.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And Aaron
he
Pryor.
He looks like an Ewok. He's got a mustache.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. And Pryor Arguello. Those Pryor Arguello fights, they're not talked about enough. I mean, you can keep every fight in the last 5 years people think are good. The two Pryor Arguello. If he trained Aaron Pryor, he knew what he was doing. That's one of the toughest motherfuckers ever. And
of all people, when we were doing Goonies, Richie was training Pryor, right?
Right.
And Spielberg's favorite fighter was Pryor, so we brought him to the set.
Wow.
To meet, because my cousin was, but he was having trouble that time. They had to, unfortunately, chain him to the. Richie had to chain him to the bed on Ventura Boulevard.
Oh, man.
And the drug guys came in a van, dismantled the bed while it was still chained to him, and took him out of the place. I mean, it was
really.
Oh yeah, there was stories.
Oh, wow.
I've always wanted to do. I have my cousin. He was out here. He also ran Sly's Tiger Eye Productions. He was with him when Sly wanted to get a heavyweight champion. Remember Len Canalito?
Yeah.
He wanted to recreate the real Rocky thing, but Richie was helping him with the boxing stuff for years. But so I had Richie come out, and I have him on tape telling the most amazing stories that are true. I mean, of these fighters and Tyson and Larry Holmes and Don King, the real underbelly. True story of boxing.
The boxing world has the best, the most crazy, incredible stories. And I got to tell you, being from North Jersey and being North Jersey Italian, as tough as these guys are, and Brooklyn and New York, I've been around all these guys, very indirectly. The group of Italians they are afraid of the most are Youngstown, Ohio guys. they said they are the toughest motherfuckers on the planet. And I've done stand up.
Youngstown, those guys with They were, it's amazing.
The real deal.
But,
I mean, Springsteen rarely writes a song about cities outside of Jersey, and he wrote one about Youngstown. So you're doing you're going on tour, right? Which is amazing. We got to come check you out, man.
Oh, please, you got to come to one of the things. I know you got stuff you're filming, and Danny was telling me, hey, Dan's a wonderful guy. I'm sorry that he's sick. I heard that he was very ill.
Again, nobody has that sense of humor. It's perfect. Yeah, Dan's doing fun.
That was fun, wasn't it?
No, that's perfect. I said, how many guys in Hollywood can I text this though, as a goof?
Right.
But he'll get through it. He needed to lose some weight. By the way, that picture, I won't get too into it. The picture you sent was very, very, very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Lovely lady.
Yes, she's very.
By the way, the word construct in that text about her was fantastic. I said, "Who is this guy, Hemingway?" So please tell us. No, I will make a day. We will come see you. What's going on with this?
Yeah, July 16th, I'll be at Eisenhower Park on Long Island. That's an outdoor concert.
Sure.
And then July 30th at Foxwoods Casino there at the Fox Theater.
I've been there. I played it. It's great.
Connecticut.
Yep.
Yeah.
They take care of you.
In August, they're great. They're wonderful. This will be the fourth time I'm there. And then I'll be in Feinstein's Studio 54 Below.
Right.
Feinstein Studio 54 Below in Manhattan. And that's August. In August, I think it's the 18th, 19th, 20th, or somewhere right there. Those 3 nights.
We'll make sure
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
We'll make sure we plug it more. Is there a website or something that we go to? Or are you on Twitter? You're at Robert.
Yeah. I have DaviSingSinatra.com.
Right.
I put stuff on there. I'm not great at putting it on sometimes, but I get people putting it on.
I'm the same way, but we'll make sure we plug it. Yeah.
Yeah, and at Robert John Davi is the thing, and then my Twitter handle, and then Facebook is Robert Davi. But I'd love to come in, when I'm in town, for us to break some bread or something.
I was going to say this. We'll have a meal, and that's fine with me. But I'm begging you to maybe come in here live one day and do it with us.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
And just shoot the shit one day. I'm right on the Hudson River, looking at the city, and come in, please.
Be there in a second. I'll be in town. I know I'm in town sometime in I'm doing a celebrity golf thing, charity, Big Daddy's golf thing at Oheka Castle. I think it's June 20th.
Okay, great.
I'll be there for that.
If you can make some time.
So I'll be in New York for a couple. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the 21st or 22nd or right around there.
We'll make sure, because like I said, this thing I'm doing for HBO is all in New York.
Congratulations! I heard that.
Yeah.
You're telling me you killed it. You killed it, and then now you're like you're doing some more of them.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal for me. It's a Judd Apatow produced series on HBO, and you talk about. I'll give you this quick story here. At the end here, talk about Blacklist. I did the 2004 Aspen Comedy Festival, which is run by HBO. HBO, I'm a big fan of everything they do, but their entertainment part is notorious for being run by very, very liberal people. Very left liberal, and I have no problem with that. In a lot of ways, I'm very apolitical, but my stand-up comedy it can be offensive to some people like that. It's funny, in the old days when Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor and Carlin got big, the Republicans were kind of uptight and were fun to goof on. The direct opposite is true. It's done in 180. Now liberals are uptight, and it's fun to goof on them.
It's crazy.
It is. Right.
They're stapling our lips together,
Yes,
Artie.
yes,
They
that's
want
good.
to staple our lips, and once you do that, you control thought and forget about it.
Right.
Orwell is right. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, look at you're right. Orwell's. It's funny how geniuses like that predict all this shit. And the ironic thing is, that, liberals point to that as their champion, and that's the thing that's sort of arguing against what they're about, which is great that a person like you is outspoken. But this got me kind of. I think I praise HBO for hiring me now, and it's amazing. But for years, I had friends of mine who had deals at HBO. And would pitch my name in a casting situation. And this one woman said, we think Artie Lange's an ogre. That was the name. But I was on stage, and the whole cast from Sex and the City, and two of the people from Sex and the City and all the writers were there. And they're, gay, mostly gay guys, and that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. And they were in the third row, and somebody heckled me, and I forgot I wasn't in a club. I do clubs all the time, and there's a standard sort of old line that you fuck with a heckler where he shuts up. And the line is, I smell, it works great in Youngstown, put it this way. I smell dick, did you burp? Okay, that's whatever. And a guy in Youngstown yells at you. If you say, "Sir, I smell dick," did you burp? He'll either kill you or he won't say a thing. But it gets a huge laugh, and you can go on with your set. Now, I forgot I was in Aspen and not, Cincinnati. So somebody yelled something out. I said, "I smell dick," did you burp? Half of the room, who were locals from Aspen, potheads, were laughing. Basically, Sex and the City ran the network at that point. I think, I'm not positive, I think I said, "I smell dick, did you burp?" to Michael Patrick King, who's the head writer and very outspoken gay producer of Sex and the City. The worst guy possible.
God.
I walked half of the room. Half of the room got up and walked out. And I think most of them were the Sex and the City writers. Which a lot of, as a comic, I wear that as a badge of honor. I want to walk people who get offended. My manager was devastated. He came back and he was like, I don't know if we might have to leave Aspen tonight. He goes, what am I going to do now? I can't pitch you to any HBO people.
Oh, my God.
He said, "I smell dick, did you burp?" Where did that come from? I don't know. It's a standard line. I don't use it in my act. I shut a guy up, but I can go on with my material. And usually, if he keeps talking, I say, "Your wife must have farted." So thank God we didn't go there. So then I became an ogre.
You know what's amazing to me? Who was it? I forget the comedian that did was it Eddie Murphy that did the Jackie Gleason?
Yeah, yep. Start fucking. Jackie Gleason and Norton is gay guy. Yeah, right.
All right. I mean, imagine today doing that.
You can't. And there's a reason Eddie Murphy doesn't go back to stand-up because, and I don't blame him, he's got $1 billion, and supposedly he's like, I don't want to deal with their bullshit. Every bit he had back then.
Everything is sensitized.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's what's so refreshing about Donald Trump.
Oh, exactly right. It doesn't. It's what he represents. It's not even what he's saying. It's what he represents to people, and what he represents to people is the anti all that bullshit, and that's enough now.
You can't say Merry Christmas.
It's
How
horrible.
crazy is that?
It's horrible, and he makes sure he says that. I love that he makes sure he goes out of the way to say that. You could tell. Now,
you know what?
Yeah.
And what he does is, and without pandering,
right?
I felt some of the others would, they went and made matzo balls, and they went and did this, and they.
What's his face? Kasich with the eating. We get it.
With that one and Cruz with the other thing.
Right.
I respect all these guys, sure.
Right.
But it was enough already. Every time they were pandering to the evangelicals or the Jews, and Trump says one thing. He goes, "I want Merry Christmas to come back.
Yeah.
I want to be able to,
Right, why not?
Exactly.
And Kasich, by the way, that with me and you being a paisan here, I'm with you. Kasich, when he was eating, that's to say, look, I like Italians. You guys eat like rhinoceroses, right? Look, I eat like this too. Look. Shut up. You guys eat like a pig in a trough, right? This is how I eat too. Look.
Let me enjoy my food, right?
Yeah. Now, hey, real quick, I'll let you go. But how are you going to be involved with Trump at all? Are you a kind of guy? How involved will you get, if at all? Will you campaign at all, or
I've been pretty involved. I've been on the air for a bit on the
right.
things.
I was going to say, can we continue to see you doing that on Fox News?
Yes, I'm going to continue as we go further because he's got to get elected.
Oh, great.
I believe he has to be elected, and
And that is brave of you, man, because you got the George Clooney and all these guys. I mean, again, I'm a fan of George Clooney's work, of course, but a lot of it.
Yes.
But why do people think he's so smart? I mean, because he was in The Peacemaker. I don't, $300,000 dinners, and you're gutsy for doing this, man. Those are powerful people.
Yeah, but I can't. The thing is that what do they say? I forget the quote. It's a great quote.
Yeah.
But, if you're intimidated by that,
right,
then you may as well just, forget about it. I'd rather not, look, it hurts sometimes because I know of things that I've lost or have not been invited to or have not been, like, okay, let's be honest, Artie,
right.
This is what was getting me about the Stern shit, because here's a guy that's outspoken, shouldn't matter, blah, blah, blah. I'm a guy, my album was produced by Phil Ramone, Davi sings Sinatra.
Right.
Here I'm a guy considered by the GQ of England, the three top Bond villains of all friggin' time.
Right.
I mean,
I know. That's right. I mean,
so
look. Yeah.
You got Bond. You got Showgirls.
Yeah.
You got Die Hard. You got Goonies. Now I do an album. Davi sings Sinatra. They get rave reviews.
Quincy loves
it. From Quincy Jones.
Right.
It goes number 6 on Billboard Jazz, and I can't get on any of these shit shows.
Unbelievable. This is one shit show you can always get on, I'll tell you. But but no, Quincy. Listen, how about that? Who says you sing Sinatra well? How about this name, Quincy Jones? I mean, come on. Who better? Who else could you get to endorse you?
I went to Estonia December 28th. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been in Estonia, Latvia, Sweden, Budapest, the United Nations, and the General Assembly. I mean, for different things. I had 5,000 people, Artie, in Estonia, in Tallinn.
Good for you. That's great.
5,000 people in Estonia. And, what's good for you? You're going to laugh at this one. My heroine, okay? When I get, pissed off, I get pissed off at fucking Hollywood.
Right.
And I go, son of a bitch, I'm at my best time. Why ain't I, because there's a part you may want or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's that kind of nonsense. And you go to yourself, so I go in my car, and they recorded the Estonian thing, and there's 5,000 people screaming for 12 minutes for me to do my next encore.
That's great.
So I'll put the song on, listen to that, and I'll be like going, I feel like Al Pacino. That's my cocaine. I don't need you. I don't need nobody, okay?
No, good for you. You should. I mean, absolutely. And, God bless you. Keep rolling. You're good at it, and you keep. And how about this? Look at it this way. How many projects were not as good because you weren't in it? I mean, think about that. They want to let that bullshit let them make a worse fucking movie. You want to talk about biting off your fucking nose to spite your face? You're welcome here anytime. And
thank you, my brother. Thank you. I can't wait to meet you in person and have a cannoli.
Here's what we're gonna do. Right next to where Sinatra's birthplace is, the actual lot. There's no house. Too many people are stopping by. Nobody can live there, so it's an empty lot. There's a star in front of it. It says birthplace of Frank Sinatra. Right next.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
If you're around.
Sure.
They've been doing I can't say who's involved. I'll tell you off the air.
Right.
Because they haven't announced yet. They've been following me around for the last year. Okay.
Great.
And they've interviewed Quincy and quite a few people about me doing the 100th thing for Sinatra and stuff like that. It's a documentary thing. And I'm doing a thing. Because I've been there. I went to Sinatra's birthplace there on Monroe Street.
Right.
So I told the filmmaker, I want to open this movie, this documentary, there.
Oh, that's great.
Right on Monroe Street. You know what I mean?
Good idea.
With the narration thing. So when I go there, maybe if you're not doing anything, you just walk down and we say something on camera.
Say no more. Say no more, Rob. I am there. And the greatest thing about it is right next to it is a place called From Here to Eternity Social Club. And they are making chicken Savoy on the bone with peppers every day and playing cards. It's like Trapped in 1948. We'll get those guys.
I got to go.
We'll get those guys to talk. I'm there, man. It'd be my honor. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Sure. And we'll plug the tour more and keep in touch. And definitely let me know in June if you're around, man.
I will. I am. I absolutely.
Okay. Are we on?
We are on.
Over the past several weeks, I've noticed on the Twitter feed, I call it a Twitter feed. The first time I heard that term Twitter feed, by the way, is the great Bill Maher talking about how he gets people who hate him on Twitter. And he talks about, sometimes I can't even look at my Twitter feed. it just sounds like the perfect Hollywood prick to say that term, to introduce me to the term Twitter feed. I can't even look at it with the dumb idiots. So in my house, no looking at the Twitter feed before a performance. Because sometimes you're just outright stupid people. People who have religion. You're dumb. You're stupid. I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. That's the difference between you and me. I'm sophisticated. You're dumb. I'm classy and elevated. I've gone through life. You didn't. You're dumb. I'm hip. I have a stylist. I wear clothes that make me look current and relevant. And my eyes are big and blue. And you can see them because I've had work done, because I've made enough money to get work done. But classy work. You have no money for work. And you're dumb. That's the difference between you and me. I come here to bumfuck Twiddles, Iowa, fucking Nebraskaburg to make money off of you. So I can go back on my jet to my HBO show with a bunch of elitist Hollywood liberals who write for me and make them new. So here's my new. Never look at my Twitter feed because it's probably just filled with dumb morons like yourself. Trolling a winner. A winner. So in this scenario, there's a winner and there's a loser. Guess which one you are. Guess again. Let me guess. Bill Maher. Well, okay, I'll give you a hint. Between the two of us, one has had two of the most influential, innovative television programs in two separate decades. Would that be you? No. The other one has managed a Home Depot for the last 70 years. So one of us has had two influential shows on HBO. One of the most prestigious places to have an influential show. And I've also come up with unbelievably wonderful, innovative things in comedy. Ever hear of the term politically incorrect? Guess who made it a household name? Would that be you? No. That's moi. Yeah, I speak a little French. Do you? Are you cultured like me? Do you have on Ariana Huffington to go back and forth on liberal views? But are you still able to be intelligent enough to have an culty? Are you the one who's famous for going out with unbelievably beautiful African American whores? No, because you're trapped in a provincial, racist, boring existence at the Home Depot. While you've been telling 400-pound gutter snipe plumbers where the PVC piping is, aisle 6, next to Brenda, who's the only one fatter than you at the Home Depot, who wears a, I'll call it, cankle bracelet for a DUI she got. Yeah, well, you've been doing that. I have been creating two of the most innovative shows in the history of cable television. I thought the phrase politically incorrect was so important to our culture. I said to Comedy Central, of course, Comedy Central wanted to name the name of the show, Bill Maher Presents. You think I couldn't have had The Daily Show with Bill fucking Maher? No. I gave them a new rule. It's not going to be a typical comedy day. It's going to expose something from culture. I'm not an egotist. I don't care. I come off as a megalomaniac, egocentric motherfucker. But I'm not. Are you? And if so, what would you have an ego about? The fact that one time a guy thought drywall was actually sheetrock in aisle 17 of the Home Depot that you work at, and you corrected him? Is that why you'd be an egomaniac? No. I said politically incorrect is the name of the show, not The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, not The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, not The Late Show with David Letterman. No. Politically correct with Bill Maher. Of course, I kept Bill Maher. And I made P.I., as I called it, a household phrase. Then one day you come home from your disgusting, boring job, and you're complaining to your provincial, disgusting wife, who looks like you. And you hear one of your disgusting, overweight children. One of your disgusting, pre-diabetic children who have nowhere to go in life, whose vocabulary is that of a cherub bush, an inanimate object. Their anatomy is that of a platypus. Nothing. An omnipresent mammal. They have no vocabulary. And an IQ less than Felix Beyond's lifetime average with runners in scoring position. That's right, I bought part of the match. Did you? I own half of Bartolo Colon. Do you? By the way, a picture of Bartolo Colon on the cover of the Daily News and his wife. There's a picture of Bartolo Colon. One of the best relief pictures ever. With some broad he dates. Is that his wife? I don't know. She, I mean, what? They're making a movie about his life. He's playing the island of Maui. I mean, he's enormous. That's what's great about baseball. How is that guy an athlete? Look at the cover. Google Daily. Is it the New York Post or the News? I have it right here. Wait a minute.
I have it.
I have it here. I have it. You? By the way, I'm officially out of the Bill Maher bit. No. Because I'll do that forever. I forgot my point with it, but yeah, the cover of the New York Post. Look at him. Look at him. If King Kong were Hispanic and out of shape, if King Kong let himself get a beer gut, look at the size of him. And who's that on the left of him? Oh wait, I was looking at his girlfriend. That's not Bartolo Colon. That's his girlfriend. I'm sorry. No, he's got his girl. Anyway, Double Better is the name. Is the name of the New York Post headline. Double Better. You know the story?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. You're looking at me like an idiot, huh? Well, Dan, while you were rating Tiger Beat, Dan knows who everybody dates, but he doesn't know the story. Dan, this is in the paper. And what's his excuse, guys? What's his excuse why he knows every Kardashian dating tip? I do know. It's in the newspaper. Yeah? This is in the front page of it. You don't know it. Why?
Well, I don't get the New. Well, I won't read the New York Post.
It's heterosexual.
I won't read the New York Post.
Why? It's too heterosexual.
Yeah, whatever.
What? Why? Here we go. Here's the liberal. Here's Mr. Liberal. He's not a liberal.
I'm kidding.
Dan, you are not kidding. You're such a liar.
I go to page 6 all the time.
Do not. That's where the gay people. I'm in page 6 all the time. Why would you read the Post? It's the venom of like. I will not read the Post. Why? What the fuck is your problem? What do they say? The truth. The truth. The truth about Rahm Emanuel. You're not kidding.
Rom,
you're not kidding, by the way. Why won't you admit that?
Just tell me about Bartolo Colon.
What the fuck is your problem? No, you don't want to hear about it. It's too heterosexual. I'll go to page 6. We'll read that for you. We'll see what Dan likes.
This should be a segment every day, the gossip column with Artie Lange.
Dan's gay moment.
Yeah.
Which is known as the whole show. Let's find page. I don't even know where it is. My fingers are too heterosexual to find it.
Yeah.
You know what? Your fingers need cum on them to find page 6. It stops at page 6. If you have cum on your fingers, it will stop at page 6. I got it right here. Look at the size of Bartolo Colon. That's the news story. This guy's an athlete. Holy living Christmas. And he looks like Andre the Giant a little. He's got an abnormally large cranium. Look at the size of the cross above them. There's a Jesus cross with Jesus, of course, stapled to the cross. Imagine looking at that as a kid. My mother had a cross in my room like every other fucking Italian parent. Oh God, it was so weird as a kid. I'm like, what? That's our Savior? That guy? The guy who's nailed to a piece of wood, bleeding, and it says Henri above it, with a gay piece of cloth, fucking cock hanging out. How hot was that, though, Dan? Sorry? Again, so you tell me what you think about this story. The latest Dan. We have to go. We have to go down the Dan rabbit hole, and we didn't even properly cover yesterday's Dan revelation of the Michael Douglas dinner. That didn't happen, and the Joel Schumacher story. Oh,
Somebody sent
another one. Dan gets the sweats up front.
Yeah, no way.
Dan, you got the sweats.
I did not get the sweats.
Yes, you did. You left.
It creeped me out.
You're right. And what Rick Steves creeped you out, too. That's what you don't realize.
He does not.
Because you want to fuck them.
Yeah, whatever.
He gets him for another guy. You have another story where you can't be in the same room as Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
You left the room.
And what's Tom Brenneman's excuse?
He was with you, creeped out. He probably said, I'll just go with Dan. I want to lose it. Gay anger. A lot of hell can come of that.
Thank you to the Twitter follower in Cincinnati that said he can't look at Tom Brenneman the same.
Yeah, the guy went to a Red game in Cincinnati and he couldn't look at Brenneman. But yeah, so whatever. We didn't even get to. I'm sorry. I apologize, guys, because I feel like I'm leaving you hanging. You tell me, Dan. There's two people Dan can't be in the same room with now. We know of two of them. Joel Schumacher is the other one who's openly gay, and Rick Steves is no one's gayer sounding than Rick Steves. There's nobody in the history of the world who sounds as gay as Rick Steves. And Dan didn't realize that. That's the other thing. Perfectly normal. Okay. Today, here's what Dan casually says. We're in the car. And he goes, I don't know why we were talking about, like when we were kids. He goes, I got kicked out of Boy Scouts.
That is not what I said.
I go, why'd you get kicked out of Boy Scouts? It's not what you said?
No.
What did you say?
I did not get kicked out of Boy Scouts.
What did you say?
I got kicked out of summer camp because I wanted to
Boy Scout camp.
Boy Scout camp. Not the Boy Scouts.
Dan, please.
Not the Boy Scouts.
You got kicked out of Boy Scout camp.
Yes.
What the fuck's the difference?
Well, I didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Right.
Dan. I'm sorry. You got kicked out of Boy Scout camp.
Right.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced. I said Boy Scouts. Dan got kicked out of Boy Scouts. For, why? Tell us why.
Because I wanted to watch the Watergate. I didn't want to build a lookout
The
tower.
Watergate hearings. What a goofy, annoying little jerk off.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I want to watch the Watergate hearings. How old are you, Dan?
I would have been 11.
Were you effeminate then, too?
No, shut up.
You're very effeminate now.
I am not effeminate.
I took a picture of you. I don't want to tweet it without your permission.
Yeah.
Of you sitting, you're laying on your bed, very effeminate. It's like you're saying, come hither. You're prancing around like Joel Schumacher. But this is one guy.
If we only had internet.
This is one guy who's straight. So, yeah. So, Dan, so that's just, again, the tip of the fucking iceberg. Thank God there was traffic at the Lincoln Tunnel. So I said, what are you talking about? Yeah, and he says it like it's normal. Like, yeah, I want to do it. I said, first of all, again, Dan thinking he's saying something that sounds cool when it's really weird. And he gets into a trap. He thought I was going to say, wow, you must have been an intelligent kid at the Watergate hearings. No, you were a weirdo.
No, I was
a weirdo. And I said, okay, 11 years old. Who do you even approach? Do you approach other 11-year-olds and say, do you want to watch Watergate today? What did they say? How could you have? You had no friends, Dan. And I feel so bad for you. You had no friends, and so you left high school early. You had these gay feelings in high school, and you had to get out of there. And now you're at the.
That would have shocked my girlfriend.
You're a Boy Scout. Yeah, the one you didn't meet yet. You mean? You said that you didn't meet her yet. When did you meet your girlfriend? We have it on tape. When you met your girlfriend, by the way.
I met her when we were 15.
You said the third grade.
No, I did not say the third grade. We were in different. I never said the third grade.
Dan, you without question said, I've known her since the third grade. No. When you told the fucking other crazy story, we have there's probably a million of them.
I never said the
when you told the one about the fruit in the shorts who you like doing comedy. What was his name?
Woody Woodbury.
Woody Woodbury. Okay, another one. Another normal Dan story. He was by himself.
Yeah, okay.
Spring break in Florida.
All right.
And I said, why'd you go do shots off a hot chick's ass? That was out of my system.
Yeah, and then the second the fucking microphones went off, Dave Juskow said, you know what? I would have gone to see Woody Woodbury too.
He was fucking.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, okay.
Dan, please.
He was not fucking with me.
Yeah, he was. And what do you? That's your normal person?
Yeah.
Dave Juskow was not. He's trying to get you to say more. He's goofing on you.
Yeah, he was not.
Yes, he was.
He was not.
Dan, the principle of goofing on somebody is you don't know if the person you're goofing on doesn't realize.
Dave Juskow wasn't intelligent enough to goof on me.
Yeah, believe me, he's very intelligent. Why? Dave Juskow's not smart now?
Huh?
Why is Dave Juskow?
You act like I'm some fucking rube or something. I'm not.
You just said. I didn't say you were a rube.
You said, "Oh, you don't know when you're not smart enough, Dan, to know when somebody's joking with you."
I didn't say that.
Dave Juskow said
I said you're too nice.
Dave Juskow told me he would have gone to see Woody Woodbury.
Well, I say he's goofing on you.
He's not.
Without question, goofing on you.
He was not.
Yes, he was, Dan.
He wasn't.
Dan, I promise
he
you.
Came over.
You take this however you want. I'm not calling you a rube. You're calling you a rube. Yeah. You're projecting stuff on me. I'm not calling you a rube.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying you are so.
You're calling me a fag rube.
A fag, yeah, not a rube. I think you're an intelligent fag. You're so defensive. And I would be too about the gay thing because of your dad and how he is. And you think I'm going to be that way? I promise you, I'm not. I would actually hug you because I know how hard it must be. So you, no, I'm saying he's doing something even worse. He's goofing on you for the gay thing, and you are so defensive. You want to believe it so bad. You want to believe, Dan. Nothing to do with intelligence. You want to believe so badly that another person is that gay. And within our ranks. And that's why you believe them.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell him not to do that anymore. Because that's very cruel. Getting back to the Watergate here.
If you do that again, Dave, you are banned from the podcast.
Getting back to the Watergate hearings. So now I say, Dan, you had no friends. That's the problem. And I'll pull a tape easily of you saying you knew this girl since the third grade.
I did not say.
In the Woodbury thing, you said, I've known her since the third grade. We were best friends. Without question. You said it 4 or 5 times. All right. I go, you had no friends. I had friends. Who? Well, my best friend was my uncle.
That's not what I said.
Again, Dan, I can't be making all of this
That's
up.
Not what I said.
All right. Okay. You said you were friends with your uncle, right? Yeah. Well, that summer you hung out.
My uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
Got divorced.
Okay.
And he lost everything.
And you were 11.
Right. And so he had no place to stay.
Okay.
And he had a business with my father.
Right.
So my father said, "Listen, we'll make room for you."
In my son's ass.
Boy, if I were talking about one of your uncles like this.
Okay. Well, again, Dan. You're talking about your uncle like this.
Yeah,
my uncle didn't move into me in my room when I was 11 and he was 40. Your uncle did.
My uncle lived with us for about 2 years until he could afford to get his own apartment.
Where did he live?
He lived in my room.
And he was how old? 40?
He was 40.
And you were how old? 11.
I think it would have been
You were 11.
70.
It was the same time as the Watergate hearings because you watched them together.
Yeah.
So you watched your one friend for the Watergate hearings was your 40-year-old uncle.
My uncle, he was a full-time teacher.
He was a defensive coordinator for Penn State.
Yeah. No, it's better. He was.
Right there.
He was a band director.
Yeah, of course he was. There's no band director, full-time teachers who were pedophiles. So, what I'm saying is, what you told me today in the car. You said that you were you watched the Watergate hearings with your friend, your uncle, who was your friend, who you also did other things with, right? You hung out that whole summer, you said.
No, for 2 years we hung out, sure.
I mean, did you have any friends who weren't 40?
I had friends.
But no, you didn't.
I had plenty of friends.
Who were they?
I had
the black-white kid?
Stan Lawrence.
Did any of them, did you, I mean, in other words, so, like, you know, at 11 years old, like, here's what I talked about my friends with. Man, you see Thurman Munson made that play, or God, the Giants suck this year. Let's play some football. Let's hang out. I'm starting to like tits. You starting to like tits? It's great. Okay. Did you, based on what you told me, did you have any other friends where you went, God, did you see Haldeman testify? Did you see the implications of the Dahlberg? Ken Dahlberg. Yeah, Ken Dahlberg. He was in charge of the slush fund. Did you read any of the stuff? The Woodward Bernstein? Did you have anyone else besides your 40-year-old uncle? And you had those conversations with? What, Dan, again, I'm not calling you a rube at all. The direct opposite. You know, I know how smart you are. It's a different thing. I think you, because I have the same insecurities, by the way, because I didn't go to college either. You get defensive. Like, hey, you're calling me dumb. That's not what it's about. I'm calling you insanely gay. Would you rather be dumb or gay? What would you rather be known as? Unbelievably stupid or a fag?
Unbelievably stupid.
You would?
Yes.
Okay. Says a lot. Mr. Liberal. Mr. Elizabeth Warren. Nothing. Claims he isn't liberal. And then he goes, I won't read the New York Post. This is so great. I can't wait to get another human being's opinion on this. So you discuss it with your, now did any friends like try to watch it with you, like and you like your black friend or Stan Lawrence?
No,
Stan.
I was when we were doing the when the Watergate hearings were going on. My dad got so mad that I quit the
Boy
Scout camp. That
what kind of stuff would you do at Boy Scout camp?
You had to build watchtowers and like scale fish and shit like that. I didn't want. I'm not gonna
boys do.
I don't want to fucking do that.
Because it's what guys do.
Yeah,
You're
whatever.
building shit and go fishing.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go fishing.
You wanted to watch it. Why did you want to go fishing? It's what guys. I went fishing with my dad. I loved it a couple of times.
I hated fishing.
Yeah, because
my dad hated fishing. His dad would make him go. My grandfather would make us go fishing. We hated it.
If your father handed you a Playboy, you would have made a paper mache doll out of it.
That was one of the perks of being a Boy Scout because we would have a paper drive.
Oh, wait, you were a Boy Scout now?
Every year.
Were you a Boy Scout?
Yeah.
I thought you weren't a Boy Scout.
No, I was a Boy Scout. What are you talking? How would I? Do you think they just let people off the street to Boy Scout camp?
Well, I thought you said you weren't a Boy Scout. You made you yelled at me before.
No, I said I was not kicked out of the Boy Scouts.
But you were kicked out of Boy Scout camp.
Yes.
Why? Well, that doesn't mean you're kicked out of
Because
Boy Scout.
I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch the Watergate. So
how do you say that to the counselor?
Huh?
What do you do?
I said, this is very important. I want to watch it.
Oh, how did you know it was important?
I just knew.
How?
I don't know.
How?
Because I read the paper.
Because the guy fucking you said. I mean, because the guy fucking you. Yeah. It could have been your uncle. Could not have been your uncle. And then what the horror is you realize you like getting fucked. And that's what your whole life was based on.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a lure for a pedophile. Yeah. I'm going to make this kid watch the Watergate hearing. Yeah. He looks around, Dad. What happens is they look for a mark. Okay, they look for the weak gazelle. They look for the limp, the one with a limp. That's what the lions do. They look for the one who loses his way from the herd. And while the other guys were being guys, building shit, fishing, using their hands for stuff other than jerking a guy off, hammer, like tool belt, doing shit you do as a guy, talking about tits, you were lagging behind. And somebody noticed it. We'll call him Mr. X in this story. In your childhood, who made you like this? The scumbag, who I wish I could see now and really go at it. Like the way Tom Arnold, remember Tom Arnold confronted his molester? Remember
Who
that?
did?
Tom Arnold. He confronted his molester on the Arsenio Hall show, I believe.
I didn't. I don't remember that.
Okay. That's what you need to, we need to find this guy. But you might say, thank you for helping me realize my sexuality. Tom Arnold realized he wasn't gay. He hated getting fucked in the ass.
No.
You might block it out, and you don't want the guy to get caught because you think maybe he did you a favor. Like, he brought you way out of it. You were on the fence, and now he drove the fence right up your ass. It could have been your uncle. I'm not saying it was your uncle. I'm saying you might be blocking it out. At some point, whoever turns you on, you don't even remember why you like the Watergate. You just say, I knew it was important. You knew because this predator told you it was.
No.
He saw the weak gazelle. He saw you not hammering. He saw you not fishing. And he said, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the fucking kid I am going to fuck. And I'll use a couple. And he probably said, hey, did you see the football game? No interest. Hey, you want to talk about tits? No interest. Hey, Watergate. Hey, wow, okay. That sounds interesting. Boom. Boom.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you're in an apartment in some area of Chicago you don't know anything about. And your father is starting his empire with a washing machines. Your mother's speaking German.
The washout inn.
But the washout inn. And you're in a strange apartment with your knee-high socks on and your little camp badge. And this guy goes, hey, Haldeman's testifying. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. And all of a sudden you hear this music. Bing, bang, bang. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, Coco, Très Jolie. Très Jolie, Coco. It becomes the last scene in Fame. And you start to cry and you take your shirt off. And he sees you and goes, put your shirt on. Were you a big fat body at that point?
No.
You were fat. You said you were enormous. You were a big fat kid.
I wasn't big fat. I was
You were
heavy.
a big kid. Right? But you got like the little meat on your tits.
Yes.
He probably loved that. Something to grab onto. You chubby little mishkite. You were a chubby little dolphin.
Boy, you sure have a lot of knowledge about this.
I know. I'm saying I know what a predator thinks like. And, something to grab onto while you're ramming at home. And I think something terrible happened there. And the worst thing, though, is you realize you liked it. And the rest of your life has been seeking that pleasure again. But you know it's bad. So what? I don't think you ever watched the Watergate hearings. I think your name for getting fucked in the ass is Watergate hearing. That's your code name. So what you've been doing, and God, I'm proud of myself. I mean, I'm no Freud, but and we'll check this out with a shrink if one's listening. Dr. Mr. Morris or Mixerplex or Dr. Torelli.
Steve Torelli.
Dr. Steve Torelli. Dr. Monica. Dr. SFN. Listen.
Dr. Bishop.
Listen, we've got back some. Listen, it's Sir Foundation. It's Dr. Sir Foundation. It's Dr. Sir Foundation. Oh, second. It's Sir Nation's fall. Dr. Nation's fall. Dr. Nation's fall. We got some tests back. It turns out you're a filthy fag. Listen, we got back the Rorschach test. This is Dr. Sir Nation. And we got back the Rorschach test. And see this ink blot? See, that's you said that you watched the Watergate hearings. That's actually you getting fucked in your mouth. So it says that you're a filthy faggot. That's Mr. Van Naten. That's Dr. Van Naten. Dr. Van Naten. That was my wife. She hits me in the head when I start to repeat things. It's Dr. Van Naten. Dr. Van Naten. So that'll be $8,000 in the bill. So now from here on, when you tell people you want to watch the Watergate hearings, it's code for let's ram it up time. It's code for the Underground Railroad, known as your ass. You know how many black cocks you showed to freedom? Your ass was the Underground Railroad of black cocks. You're the Harriet Tubman of black dick. Dr. So that's it. That's the code. So for the rest of your life, you've been searching for the pleasure you got watching the Watergate hearings with your uncle, who I say might not even exist. On whose side is your uncle?
He's my dad's older brother.
Older brother? He looks like your father?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know.
He's not his brother, Dan.
Oh, he's his brother.
Dan, he's not his brother. You said that emphatically, like it came up before, right? You said he doesn't look like him emphatically just now. You said no.
No, he doesn't look like my dad.
Right, so you guys have been wondering for a long time, right? He's not your father. Dan, listen, your father has a very pronounced, this makes so much sense. I love this. I'm so fucking brilliant. I just figured this out on the air. I'm getting to the bottom of this, man. You might be the bottom, but I'm getting to the bottom of this. I am. Because you deserve it. No one has spent this much time on you before. That's how friendly I am. So this guy doesn't even look like your dad. So I guarantee this was a guy your father met, and he probably tried
to... a Tom Hagen type?
Yeah. Took him off the street. You know, my brother found him on the street. My brother Danny found him on the street. He was 40 years old. Danny was 11. And Danny said, "Can you live in my room?" He was a stranger. He was a stranger who your father took in. And he said, I want you to turn my son into a
Oh, fuck. I just remembered something.
What? You did get fucked by the guy?
No, Mike, his son listens to the podcast.
Whose son?
My cousin Mike.
Who's your cousin Mike?
My uncle Rich's kid.
Oh. Jesus, okay.
Did you meet him at one? He was at Indianapolis. I don't know if you. I couldn't remember if you met him.
I'm trying to change subject. I don't know. I'm sure he's devastated by this information.
Yeah.
You remembered that you got fucked just now. You had that revelation. You went, whoa, I just... That's how it happens. I've seen it in documentaries. All right, we'll leave it there, Dan. But when Dan says...
Thank you for curing me, Dr. Dr. Lange.
All right, this is Dr. Lange. When Dan says, I want to hear the Watergate hearings, that means there's a cock-a-brewing. That means he notices in the room that weak gazelle. And someone is getting rammed in their asshole.
A dirty Magruder.
He has names. He knows all the names. What's a dirty Magruder? That's where you get fucked, right? A dirty Magruder. Oh, I just figured out what you did there. What about the Dahlberg repercussions? Nobody cares about the Dahlberg repercussions. You want a Dr. Ben Bradleyberg. You want a Ben Bradley Blumpkin. You want a Woodstein cock.
Woodstein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woodstein.
You want a Wood. Wood. All right, we're going to leave it there. You want to get rammed up, you want a Washington Post up your ass? I love it.
Not the New York Post.
No. My water broke gate. All right, we're going to leave. I mean, again, this is a lot of work for a session. This is emotionally draining. I got to the bottom of so much there. He's not. First of all, your uncle is not your father's brother. Forget about that. Just get that out of your head. Start to get over that now. All right. By the time we do another podcast, I want you over that. He's not your blood related. Something happened, Dan, to where your father got into debt with a mob family that had a pedophile, and your father probably
take him in?
regrets this to the day he's going to die. The mob family said, "Listen, let me tell you something, Mr. Filato. My cousin, this kid, his name is Antonio, but we're going to call him Rich. The kid's a filthy guy, a pedophile. He loves little boys." And yeah, he loves little boy. And he told us He told us that we thought he was gay. He said he was sexually attracted to the MVP of the World Series when he was a kid. We said Mickey Mantle. He goes, no, the Little League World Series. He was sexually attracted to a kid from Taiwan.
Well, we wouldn't know what the World Series was in Chicago.
Exactly. Little League World Series. We said, oh, my God, holy Christ. I thought he was going to be saying he was attracted to Ernie Banks. Let's fuck too. But so here's what you have to do to pay your debt back, because our shirts were stained in your washing machine, and I couldn't go to my daughter's wedding. You fucked up the pictures too. So here's what you got to do, Mr. Delano. You got to let this filthy pedophile. Do you have any children? I got a couple. My one son Dan is slow. I don't think he's going to make it. Perfect. That he has to be sacrificed. This 40-year-old pedophile has to sleep in Dan's room. And whatever happens.
I'm sorry, Uncle Rick.
Is Dan a hairy kid? He is, actually. He is Don Francesco. Call me Don Francesco. He's very hairy. Yeah. Because I hate to say this, but this pedophile, he's a specific type. He loves hairy ass. But you can't get hairy asses as a kid a lot, so he has a conundrum. You're saying he's that rare kid? Yeah, he's unbelievably hairy for a 11-year-old. Perfect. Well, he may not fuck him. Odds are he will. Is he cute, the kid? Not at all. But he thinks he is. That's all right. That's okay.
He's a 6. He's a strong 6.
Do you have a picture of the child? Do you have any naked pictures? All right. So, do you mind taking that risk that your son's life is ruined? What are the chances, Don Vincenzo, of my son liking getting fucked? Then your worst nightmares come true. Then he's the devil living in your house, and you have to get rid of him. Or the kid will have to live a lie the rest of his life. The kid, knowing he'll be executed if he tells the truth, will live a lie. And even if he gets on a very popular podcast and they grill him on it, he'll have to keep lying and say he's not a gay person when he is. But when he says, I want to see the Watergate hearing, you think cock and ass. Do I have your loyalty on this, Don Filato? You do, Don Francesco. When can he move in? Today, if you'll. Great. Tell your son, Dan, you make up some fucking excuse. Say he's like a life coach or some shit. Say he teaches ballet. Your kid's a theater fruit, right? Yeah. I saw him play ball. It was terrible. Very feminine.
I made the All-Star team.
Made the All-Star team. He's going to make a new All-Star team. The All-Star team of love. You okay? So what I'm saying is, when this happens, within a week, there's a good chance your son will be fucked in his ass. And not a virgin. And you're fine with that. Absolutely fine. He's had a girlfriend since kindergarten. Then he's quite normal. I'll leave it at that, Dan. I'll leave it at that. I want to thank Robert John Davi for coming in. You know, yesterday, again, Dan, being a terrible producer, is going to forget again, but yesterday somebody begged me on Twitter, requested, 2 different people requested, that I do the Autumn Wind, which, of course, is the theme to the Raiders on the classic John Facenda NFL films, 1970s NFL films when it was great. And what was the name of the family? What was the name of the father and son who were responsible for NFL films?
Steve and...
Steve who? I got to give them props.
Yeah, Steve, because...
How do you not know that?
I forgot it now.
But you know the fucking... all the people in, the South Pacific.
I do not.
Yes, you do. Steve. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, find it out, Dan. You're the fucking producer. I gotta give them props. 1970. He looks up all the gay stuff. Yes, she was in Carousel. This was flattering. He goes, I love the way you do the Autumn Wind. And basically, John Facenda, who was, I'm going to, do my lame version of right now. John Facenda's voice, he was the NFL Films voice, and he would recite this poem whenever he was talking about the 70s Raiders, who were classic, the John Madden Raiders. So these kids, I think, who follow us are big-time Raider fans. And they said, Art, can we please request you do the autumn wind. Thinking about what I just said, before I do the autumn wind, I want you to hear this song that a fan sent in, based on the fact that Chicago, Dan's favorite band, got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This guy seems to share my opinion of Dan and the gay theory. This is one of my favorite song parodies a fan has ever sent in. After this, we'll take a pause. We'll find out the name of Steve.
Steve Sable.
Steve Sable. Steve Sable. We'll take a pause. Brief introduction. I'll go into the autumn wind. Listen to this song parody about Dan. It's funny already. That's Chicago. Listen to this.
Dan is gay in Denmark. You let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. Dan is gay in Denmark. He let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. No use lying, no denying. Two men shooting white cream. Playing with their dong.
In Denmark. Is that it?
Yeah.
Please play it again. Dan is gay in Denmark, letting Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. Please play it again. Here we go, everybody. From a fan. This is the greatest song parody ever. This guy can sing.
Oh, yeah.
This is Robert Davi.
Dan is gay in Denmark. He let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye.
Okay, I'm coming out to this on stage.
Dan is gay in Denmark. He let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. No use lying, no denying. Two men shooting white cream.
White cream.
Playing with their dong.
What a terrible place to go out, like the hard out
I know.
And why, when he says dong, does his voice get low? Playing with dong.
John Garrow.
That is the name I'm going to say.
Gorrw.
Oh, that is unbelievable. John, you're my favorite. John, do me a favor. I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know if you have responsibilities in life. Whenever you get time, do a song parody. And make it about Dan being gay.
Yeah.
Well, anything if you want. Make it me fat, whatever. Take a theme from the show. That was fucking hilarious. Oh. Okay, do we have the Autumn Wind kid's name? To give him a tribute?
It was on your Twitter.
No, why would you keep that, of course?
What are you talking about? It was your Twitter. It wasn't mine.
Dan, well, you're the producer of the show. You could have found out what his name was. You knew I was going to read it? What is that nod in your head, Dan? You want me to get the information?
I don't go on your direct messages.
Hey, just hang on a second. You got anything interesting to say? This dead air brought to you by Dan. Yeah. Keep playing this in your fucking head.
Dan is gay in
Absolutely.
Denmark. He let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. Dan is gay in Denmark. He let Rick Steve shoot come in his eye. No use lying, no denying. Two men shooting white cream. Playing with their dongs.
I like the almost Sting-like falsetto that he goes up with his voice.
I can't find it. I can't find it. And here's what I think. I blame this all on Steve Dahl. Dan is like one of those puppies you get from a puppy mill that was abused by like a biker gang. It was burned with cigarettes. The way they train those dogs, and especially those crack dogs.
Oh, don't.
In African American communities, or it could be white communities. Yeah, that happens a lot. What they do is they burn them. And a lot of times they'll sharpen another dog's teeth and let it destroy the other dog. And what happens is just what happened with Dan. Like gay guys and girls get that reaction, and they sell them to them. That's what the puppy mill does. They prey on gay people and women like Dan and my sister to talk about it. To go like, I need a puppy. As soon as they hear that, they know they got somebody. We'll bullshit this guy. Say this puppy needs a home. Fall for it every time. Who's this puppy's name? Oh, we got one on the hook there. That puppy, you name him. Oh, what if we call him Kippy? Great, we got a gay guy. Oh, wait, he's talking to a woman. Here's my friend's sister, Stacy. Oh, yeah. And that's all we hear about. Then the only person creeped out is the dog. The dog is like, oh. Because the dog, remember, comes from a black community. He's very heterosexual. He's a man's man, the Rottweiler or something. Or a little Brussels Griffon. So what happens is then that dog...
He's not on the dog low?
The what?
The dog low?
What's the dog low?
The black community.
What are you talking about?
They call that the down low.
Right. What's the down low?
Black guys that are gay.
Right. They do?
Yes.
How do you know that?
It's a common term.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Dan knows what they call black. Okay, I rest my case.
Yeah, whatever.
What? How do you know that?
Because they've had TV shows and movies about it.
I never saw one.
Yeah, sure you did.
You know what? What in the black? What are they in the black community? What's the dog? Oh, the dog low's a joke.
Yes.
Oh my God! Keep that one on the dog low. Dan, it is just yell it out, man. You know what the black community calls. What does it mean?
Down low.
What is
on
it?
The down
What
low.
does that mean?
It it's married gay black guys that are gay.
They call black guys that are gay called down lows?
On the down low.
Why is that?
I don't know.
How do you know that?
Because it's been punchlines for movies, and it's in
a black guy who's secretly gay.
In the last Kevin, what's his name? Kevin.
I don't know.
The comedian, the shorter guy, Kevin
Hart.
Kevin Hart movie. It's in one of his last couple of movies. There's a section on it. But it's been around for like 20 years. There's like books
what year?
and stuff
What year
about
did it start?
I don't know.
Well, you seem to know a lot about it. I've never heard of it.
It was a big thing in culture 15 or 20 years ago.
It was?
Yes.
I don't remember. Well, I mean, I'm straight. Would I know it? I wouldn't know it if I'm straight. What are you just blurting this shit out for? I mean, what is your argument at this point? So wait, so if a guy is married, a black guy's married and secretly gay, you know the name for it.
It is a common term.
Amongst who?
In
the gay community.
No, it is not.
It's not a common term in the gay community?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't hang around with the gay community.
Well, how do you know that word?
Because it is in pop culture everywhere on the download. There are songs about it. There are movies about it.
Name a song about it.
It's guys on the down low.
That's a
there's
song?
Rap song. They're in rap lyrics.
I don't know. Well,
I listen to talk radio. I don't know. I listen to
But
talk
now
radio.
you don't know. You don't know? What do you do know? What's a song
I don't
about?
know a song. You want me to Google a song?
No, because you should know. I'll Google anything you want. Stuff will pop up. You know because you did you date a black guy? I don't understand. You yelled it out there, and you're mad at me like I yelled it out. That's insane.
Yeah, okay.
So what do they call a white guy who's secretly gay? On the Filato? On the Dan Filato? Yeah. On the Dan Filato. And the down low. Dude, the dog low is not worth it to come out. That joke is how you came out. Think about it. The dog. If anybody knows the down low, call him. First I've ever heard that. Wow. All right. You remember how you heard it for the first time? How? How'd you get it?
Because I wanted to know what they were talking about. I'd see all these women on
Why would you want to know what they're talking about?
When I go to the gym...
what? You would hear what?
No. When you go to the gym, they have the little TVs on the bikes.
They do.
And I have to... I'll count every second.
There's black guys fucking on it.
I count every second that I'm on the bike. So if I watch something, when I went to mostly when I would go to the gym, it'd be middays, and you'd see Maury Povich or Springer, and they'd have shows on that all the time.
On what?
On guys on the down low.
They would?
Yes.
And that's what you watched? Could you change the channels?
Huh? They you could watch CNN, you could watch...
and you chose the black gay guys?
No, I watched Maury and...
Sounds like you did.
Maury Povich
There were
and Springer.
two channels.
Maury Povich and Springer.
There were two channels that you could watch. There were only two channels you could watch?
No, there were like 4 or 5, but that would seem
what was
to
on
me...
the other
I didn't... CNN was on.
Was there
Fox
any channel that wasn't talking about black gay sex?
Then you had 2, 5, and 7, or whatever you got.
What were they talking about black gay sex as well? So you picked the two channels that happened to be talking about.
And they also talked
black
about
guys fucking.
Yeah, they also talked about you slept with my sister. And
right. But you weren't interested in that.
I would watch Maury and.
Why?
Huh?
Why
Because
if you had
the
other
time would
options?
go by faster if I was on the bike if I watched those shows.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't stare at the
when
clock.
do you get to the down low? When do you get to that?
I don't know. Whenever they were doing the shows.
And you paid enough attention to realize that's what they were called?
It is a common term.
Okay, so I believe you, I guess. I guess I have to believe you. I don't want you to get mad.
There are jokes. It's in
name
movies.
one. You can't name one. Name
They're
a movie.
in movies. It's in one of the Kevin Hart movies. He talks about
Tell
it.
the name of it.
I'm not a fucking chronicler of Kevin Hart movies.
Well, you're enough to know the down low.
It might have been About Last Night. I don't remember.
About Last Night?
Yeah.
The Rob Lowe movie?
Yeah, Kevin Hart did a remake.
You watched that? Oh, God, that's awful. That's
That's
more embarrassing.
It was on cable.
So is black gay sex. I don't watch that. You dated a black guy. How else would you know that? I mean, that's also a very specific thing. Like, you have to know I'm on the down low, you know. I'm with Dan Filato. Dude, you should make that the gay one, the white one. Mm-hmm. You can make money off it. All right. I'm the asshole because you blurted that out. All right. I'll shut up about it. I won't, and we'll never get the name of the Auto One guy. Is there a way you can find the name of the Auto One guy? Don't worry.
Can I go on your Twitter?
No, forget it. That's all right. You're right. We don't need it. Well, you know who you are. Well, now it's a couple people. He might not know who he is. We'll do it afterwards. We'll tag him. All right? It's disconcerting when you're looking at it. Are you going to play the music?
I'm going to play the music.
All right. This is the Autumn Wind for you guys who requested it. Am I starting or you? The autumn wind is a pirate, bustling in from sea. With a rollicking song he tramples along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a crooked sash, with a silver cap upon his head, and a blistering black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you around and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won. For you guys, the Artie fans out there. Artie Quitter. We're outie, no doubting. Perfect. Nice. We'll wait to get sued from Steve Sale. You need the music. You just need the
dead.
Thank God. You can shut that off. That was perfect, though. You needed that. Well, you guys know who you are. That was fun. I miss saying it. We need another take? We got it. I think that's one take Lang, right?
That's right.
All right. All right, you got us. It's just been long enough. How long have we been talking? It's 3 o'clock.
Is it really?
Tomorrow, what do we got? Anything we can tease or no? We probably don't.
Mario Bosco.
Oh, wait, yeah. Fun show tomorrow.
Mario Bosco?
Mario Bosco's back for his 3rd round. Everybody loves Mario. You know Mario. If you don't know Mario, go to the St. Gennaris Feast this year, yell at Mario, and look down. He's the best guy on the planet Earth. We love him.
He's a sweetheart.
And he'll be here with whoever's driving him. And so Mario's back, and who else?
Vinny Brand is here tomorrow?
Great Vinny Brand. Stress Factory Vinny Brand. That's right. He hasn't been here in a while.
Right.
He was here every Wednesday. Under the weather, I believe.
Yes.
And
he was out. He was also on tour for a little bit, too.
On tour, okay. We love Vinny.
But he will come. He will tell us tomorrow about the Jerry Seinfeld, Margaret Cho night.
Can't wait. There's a biggie. I hope he brings that one. Yeah, that's of course I've been wondering about that. No, Margaret Cho was at his club, the Stress Factory, acting weird. She was telling jokes to the wall. And supposedly Jerry Seinfeld was supposed to come and do a charity show to make up for the fact that everybody wanted their money back for the Margaret Cho show. Margaret Cho, for some odd reason, is loved by everybody like Jerry Seinfeld. Remember, if Margaret Cho wasn't Asian and looked like me, she would probably be working at a car wash. But an odd thing happened to the Margaret Cho show. Nobody laughed. So, yeah. And that really stood out. The first show, according to Vinny Brand, was great. Typical Margaret Cho fucking gut-splitting laugh fest. To where I think she did an impression of her mother. Like, that's not the hackiest thing ever. But when Margaret does it, it's smart. It's not racist. It's smart when Margaret does it. Because she's a woman who you wouldn't fuck with a 10-foot pole. And when they tell jokes like that, of course they're smart. When Janine Garofalo's in a movie like Mystery Men, it's considered an interesting miss. You know, she brought something interesting to an otherwise hack film. Her incredible eye-rolling and sarcasm where she almost makes fun of the script and makes fun of the director to his face and makes fun of you, the audience members, for buying a fucking ticket for this piece of awful dog shit that you're watching is brilliant. She's so smart and so funny in an otherwise dumb film. Artie Lange's in the film, but for some reason, because he's a heterosexual white guy, we think he seems dumb in the movie. Not Janine. Janine's an angry little troll, and we think she's smart. Margaret Cho, when she says somebody's fat, she's not fat-shaming. She's being smart. Intellectuals think that person's fat. When Artie Lange does it, he's fat-shaming, and we want to kick him out of the business. When Margaret Cho walks around in a stupid stupor, talking about her mom, doing impressions of the fucking guy from Korea who looks exactly like her. The easiest joke ever when you're Asian and look like that guy. Yeah. When she makes fun of Hillary Clinton's shirt, she's not body judging. No. Or fat shaming. She's making fun of Star Trek. But when she makes fun of Star Trek, she's not making fun of Gene Roddenberry, whatever race he is. Is he Irish? Well, she's not making fun of Irish. And there's an African-American woman in Star Trek, so it's actually a show that broke down barriers. So she's not making fun of the show because it broke down barriers. No. She's making a safe joke that we all should understand and love. But because this stood out. Usually when she sucks when she's trying to be good. This time stood out because she sucked and she was in a stupor, sucking. She sucked in a different dimension. She was horrible, awful, which is what she does. Horrible and awful stuff. On stage. Much like Sam Kinison supposedly said about Whoopi Goldberg's career. Why is she successful? Sam Kinison supposedly said to a young Norm Macdonald at the Comedy Store, America got together and decided not to hurt somebody's feelings. That's the nicest thing you can say about Margaret Cho. Margaret Cho's audience demanded their money back. They said, usually we don't laugh. But for this time, we didn't laugh because she took something. They thought she was on drugs. So, I don't have evidence of that. But because everyone, for some ridiculous reason, likes her, if I did that, would Jerry Seinfeld come to my aid? No. Because Jerry Seinfeld thinks I'm a fucking gutter snipe, a disgusting pig who should put his cable in. When in fact, most people you meet think I'm way funnier than him. Whatever. What I'm saying is, if Jerry Seinfeld didn't meet Larry David, he would be a less funny version of Dom Herrera. So, let's recap. Margaret Cho sucked at a comedy club. That's not the headline. No, that's like saying the sun came up. No, she sucked in a way that was weird. She was sucking she was talking to a brick, she was sucking while telling jokes to an ATM machine. Much like an ATM machine, these people want money. They want their money back. They want their money back. So Vinnie Brand, being a great businessman, gave them their money back. When Jerry Seinfeld read about this horrible news on the internet, he said, I'm coming to Margaret Cho's aid because she's a fat Asian broad. And when she sucks, it's smart. And we have to make these people realize she has to keep going. So Jerry Seinfeld, because he's bored to death, he's no longer doing it. He's now living a life about nothing. He left his 800,000 million square foot mansion in Southampton, or a big champion of the homeless cause, his 40,000 square foot apartment on the Upper West Side for Porsches, just 4 feet from where 4 homeless families froze to death this year, is a house he has for Porsches. Big into charity. Recently, I think his wife bought a $8,000 sweater for their Shar-Pei and showed it to a homeless child while he was shivering to death and dying. If Jerry Seinfeld sold 2 of the Porsches he has in the apartment on the Upper West Side for the Porsches, if he sold 2 of them, he could feed every homeless person in Manhattan. Does Jerry do that? No. He gets in one of those Porsches instead and drives to fucking New Brunswick to make sure Margaret Cho's stupid audience gets their fucking money back. That's the cause he's for. So supposedly, this was happening. Vinnie Brand gets the big call. Get ready, Elvis is coming. Jerry Seinfeld's advance team shows up. And they look around and go, is there enough room for a guy to be an arrogant asshole? Yeah. A guy needs room to be an arrogant asswipe and condescending to other comics for about an hour and a half. Is there enough room here? You have to pay for the gas in his Porsche, unless he decides to take his private jet. Then you have to pay for the gas on that. That's $30,000. The Porsche is about $20,000. Then you have to pay for Margaret Cho's makeup. They're going to go, supposedly do a show, and get her money back. Make sure Vinnie Brand doesn't lose any money. So for Vinnie, Jerry Seinfeld was going to get some good publicity and go. Supposedly that was happening a few weeks ago.
Yes.
On the down low. I'm sorry. And that would be if Margaret Cho was black and be on the down. And we don't know if it happened.
It did happen.
It did happen.
Yes.
It did.
Yes.
Oh, God. What a great story. So Jerry Seinfeld got in one of those Porsches and drove over the body of a dead homeless boy who froze to death while he was housing 40 Porsches 2 feet from him. And made sure Margaret Cho's fucking stupid, dumb audience who think she's funny, these dummies, these dum-dums who fall for her bullshit, made sure they got their money back. Vinnie Brand is going to tell us how that went.